genetically modified organism. And so what do we mean specifically when we say GMO? Okay, so we're modifying a specific gene. Are we doing that by mutating it with radiation? No, right? We're bringing it in from another species. That's the legal definition of GMO. Scientifically, I would argue if you're mutating it, it's also modified. But legally, it has to be a gene coming from another species. All right, so we've talked about, Amanda showed you the cool video there of the BT. So BT crops are those that have that cry gene from the bacteria, which makes them super resistant to a lot of insects, like you saw in the video there. How about glyphosate resistance? What does that do for the plant?
Prevents an active ingredient in Roundup called glyphosate from killing the plant.
Yeah. And so what's Roundup? Okay. Does anyone else know what Roundup is?
Plant killer.
Was it?
Plant killer weed control.
Yeah. So it's an herbicide. So you can buy it to use around your house. So it's a general herbicide. And what the glyphosate resistance gene does is it allows you to spray the plant with glyphosate and the plant won't die. And I'll show you some pictures of why that might be a good thing for you as a farmer. All right, so why do you think that using these crops that are resistant to things like glyphosate has resulted in the development of super weeds?
Because whatever weeds have survived have, we've been over this, that anything that survives will of course be super immune to any of the weedicides that we had in the formula or whatever is killing them.
Yeah, so basically, we're coming in putting really strong selective pressure, right, into our field. So if we're just spraying lots and lots of this one herbicide, we are selecting for natural variants in the weeds that might be resistant. Now, Ilya also came up with a second possibility, which is if you have a weed that is very closely related to your crop species, it could actually interbreed with that crop species and transfer the gene over. Which brings us to the last question. So if you are an ecologist, say in Mexico, where there are wild relatives of corn, would you be more concerned about a herbicide resistance gene crossing into the wild relatives or the insect resistant gene, which would make that wild corn plant into a super weed that would outcompete all of the other species in the forest?
I'd be more concerned about it doing damage to like the insects, because if the insects can't feed on it, then you're going to kill that population, and if that one can therefore like have a higher relative fitness than any of the other types of plants in its ecosystem, and then be able to proliferate from there, then it's not only killing the insects, but it's also killing away all the other plants that are involved in that same ecosystem.
Sure. Yeah, I would agree with that. So you do a couple of things. It could mess with the insects that are normally dependent on that wild corn relative for food. And it could also make that wild corn sort of super competitive and outcompete other natural species. As opposed to the herbicide resistance, there are probably not people running around the forest spraying herbicide, right? At least hopefully not. All right. Any questions or comments about the reading? Yeah.
So I went into Chipotle earlier last week, and they were all about GMO, not being GMO.
I'm going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?